Welcome back. We're going over Alexandria's Lovecraft laws.
Welcome back.
And I think the last episode we did one, two, and three.
Yep.
And so we're going to pick it up here at number four.
Great.
The five senses, sight, smell, taste, and touch, as well as hear, were given to us in order that we may cope and correspond to the world around us and be able to live in it.
This one I think is kind of simple. Um, it does get covered a bit by books of hive magic, which will sometimes take the practitioner and ask them to do exercises where one or two senses are, covered or obscured.
Mhm.
And so you pay attention to the world around you without that sense. And it helps you to connect, I think, and more fully integrate into the world around you. Um, and a lot of people sometimes have done an exercise where they blindfold themselves so they can't see and they'll navigate
Mhm.
um, as part of an empathy exercise for dealing with people that have, vision problems or are blind. Um, Hearing is huge. So when you take away your hearing, that is uh, a tremendous loss. It's one of the most important senses, I'd say, after vision. Um, Sense of smell, if you never had a sense of smell, you probably won't miss it. But if you had a sense of smell and you lost it, like the lead singer from In Excess, he lost his sense of smell in an injury. And it could be very depressing, very because it's one of our human survival instincts is just that sense of smell. Taste is strongly associated with it. Um, some people say we smell more than we taste. So, um, but it helps us correspond to the world around us. And if
Mhm.
you're a geologist, then you know how important taste is because as any geologist knows, you can lick it. You don't know what that rock is, you can lick it.
Yes.
You will learn something that you may have not known before. So if um usually it's if it pulls the moisture away from your tongue, that'll tell you something like, it's porous rock, it's a type of rock. Certain level of hardness, I guess, if you were unsure. Um, salty, right? So if there's salt in that rock, not that you should eat all rocks. Not all rocks are edible. Um,
Yeah,
but
so this is not a recommendation to eat
it's a
rocks.
geologist thing. Geologists will do this. And they probably have an idea of what the rock is, before they, put their tongue on it. So, but I always thought that was just a funny thing. I don't know. Um,
Archaeologists have been known to do that too.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. Like Egyptologists, they'll be like, I just want to put my tongue on it. And then you're just like, hmm. I guess there's things like the mastodon, the frozen mastodon that they unearthed out of Siberia, which was apparently an edible condition. So, well, because the dogs got into it first. So, the dogs get into it, and then you're like, oh, well, I guess we'll keep an eye on the dogs.
I guess,
Dogs aren't
yeah.
going to eat anything that's bad for them, right? Uh, it's only 12,000 years old. What could be wrong?
Um, yep, and
Well,
I think we had touch in there also. And as you said, this is, becoming more attuned to the senses is
yeah,
another way that we can sort of hone our instrument that is our
yes,
physical bodies to,
yes,
um, you know, taking care of ourselves as part of living a magical life because
yes.
this is,
This religion, the
mhm,
pagan religion, Wiccan religion, more than I would say more than any other, but touch is very important.
mhm.
It's 100% important. And anybody that has a baby, I say, hold your baby. Make sure you hold your baby. That's like number one most important thing you can do for intelligence. And the babies that are not held are, are more likely to be serial killers. So, hold your baby, you know, um, very beneficial for the baby's cognizance and intelligence. Of course, the emotional part of it, security, it actually helps them gain independence earlier because they feel secure. When you have that security, then you feel like it's okay to explore the world, right? So, and it's
Well
the
said.
pentagram, if you didn't already key into that, the five senses with that sixth sense in the center of that star.
Sounds like a topic for a future chat, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
All of the Lovecraft laws were they're simple, but then they're like, yeah, there's there's a lot
It's
to it.
multi-layered.
For sure. It's a parfait. It's not an onion.
I like that. So number 5, the ancient elements of fire, earth, air, and water are nature's tools and our friends. We must learn to take from them, use them, protect them, but most of all, learn to give back for what we have taken.
Yes. I always refer back to the Druids who had laws that governed the felling of trees. And one of their laws was you can't cut a tree without planting two trees to replace it. So we learn to take from nature, of course, we have to. We're expected to. That is part of our role. Um, but we learn to also give back. Um, Important to note, and something I learned, I feel like a recommitment of knowledge. Um, so the indigenous peoples of California would do controlled burns in the woods and the forests.
Mhm.
And in doing that and in taking care of the wildlife there through doing controlled burns, um, the wildlife does better and the trees do better. So a lot of times we see humans as, you know, um, like a negative, like our impact in the world is just a negative impact. Um, but we do, in fact, have a positive impact as well. Positive for cat populations, positive for dog populations, positive for cow populations, all the domestic animals, all of the animals that we grow to eat, or dairy cows and things like that. They wouldn't be here if, I mean, some of them may be here, There may be some wild ones left, but their populations have done well because of us. Now, we can always argue quality of life, I think, a little bit, but know that many native traditions ate meat and also ate vegetables too. So that's part of who we are as a species. You don't have to eat meat. I'm not saying that that you should or shouldn't. You should do what you want. And I also know that if you don't eat too much meat, you may live longer. That's what the science says. The science says, 8 years. Um, you just have to take care of, making sure you have rounded nutrition if you do that. Um,
And look, that builds on the tenet of balance, doesn't it?
yeah, yeah. And I think our religion is very agrarian, very of the seasons, of the harvest seasons,
Hmm.
um, planting, sowing, reaping.
Hmm.
So I think that's intrinsic, and that's part of what connects us to nature, and it's how we correspond in one way to the outside world. We learn to give back when we learn to make the world a better place, which is possible, even if it's just on a small scale. Maybe as a civilization, we've got a lot of work to do, but on an individual scale, that is something you can do. And um, I think you always have to continue to learn, and figure out what's best.
Number 6, you are your most important tool. Most all magics come from or are controlled by our minds. For by believing, we make the impossible possible.
Absolutely. I think the modern world is just kind of catching on. Um, I feel like I said these exact words 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and teaching
Yep.
those classes back then. But creative visualization is an important, like a core tool for Olympic athletes. Uh, Almost all of them have a visualization where that they are working with in
Mhm.
order to help them achieve their goals. And that visualization, I mean, I've had coaches work with me on that with swimming when I was a kid, it's just um sometimes overlooked, but it's very important is your mindset. It's how you approach. So how you approach your problem, how you approach maybe a challenge, um, how you achieve your goals. Um, uh, the first key is with your mind. Yeah, for certain. And that'll come up a lot. Um, um, if you don't have a mirror, it's good to have a mirror maybe behind your altar.
Mhm.
Um, that way you can see yourself as you approach uh, magical workings.
Mhm.
And as we approach the god and the goddess, we see ourselves. Because our minds can also be our undoing, right?
It- Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so. And if we think back um, to the expression we went that that we opened this discussion with in the first episode, as the God and Goddess be my witness, I am me, embracing who we are. That mirror I've often seen that mirror used as a tool, when the mirror
Yeah.
behind the altar, so that you come from a position of truth and understanding that this is who you are, and
Yes.
your vision is clear.
Yeah. Yeah. If it is in our hearts, we will manifest it.
Mhm.
If that is our desire, whether we know it or not.
Yes. That's whether we know it or not.
Yep. Is that our last tenet of the day?
That will be our last tenet of the day.
All right.
We will come back and start with tenet number Lovecraft law.
The Lovecraft law. I know. I threw you off.
Lovecraft law number 7 will be where we'll start with our next episode.
Sounds good. Well,
Um,
have a good week and feel free to like and subscribe as we should get a little more regular with our posts.
we appreciate you, and drop some comments or questions
Yeah.
in the messages.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Excellent. Have a good week.
Have a good week.